Happy Monday. Why am I double hearing? Hold on a minute. Test on the mic 1 2. Test on the mic 1 2. Test on the mic 1 2. There we go. Uh-oh. Oh my goodness. I feel like I'm double. Do you guys double hear me? Test on the mic. Test. There, I fixed it. I think it. No, I didn't. Okay, as long as I'm good with y'all, I'm good with me. As long as there's no echo on this end, on your end. Okay. Let me. I got to get this straight. Well, happy Monday morning. Why? When you're coming in, let me know how you're doing this morning. There we go. Now I can see you. Hi. Happy Monday morning, everybody. Hi, Kim. Good morning. Good morning. Hi. A $1 Daisy is in the house. What's up, JC? Hi, Seb, Grandma. Breathing Jazz is in here. The Queen says, ooh. Hey, Steph, Voices for Justice Danielle is live now at Solid Rock. Nothing specific happening. I know. I just caught like the tail end of her driving up to Azalea Lakes, I believe. So I didn't catch why. I guess it's just because. Oh, was you? I mean, it was just like very at the tail end. Is somebody there or something? Just checking. Oh, got you. Just in case. You never know if he's going to be packing something else out of the church. Oh, me, oh, my. You guys, who is excited to see Robbie Harvey's show tonight at 9? You know what he's going to talk about. Hey, Jenny. I'm excited. Breathing, I don't know if you meant to come up to the panel, but if you didn't, I'll let you down. Nope. Okay. It's fine. Yes, I watched his video at the airport. Some of it yesterday. I didn't get to finish. So I watched the rest of it while I was getting ready this morning. I'm just going to do a few tests here because this double echo in my ear is getting to the last nerve. Test echo, echo, test echo. I think it's because I'm also on YouTube and Facebook Live right now, carrying the Lake and Raleigh trial. I mean, the Georgia versus, I'm lagging. I don't, okay, let me go all the way out and come in. I'll be right back. Test 1, test 2, still there for me. But if anybody else is good now, I can probably live with this. I might have to shut down. I don't want to shut down my big YT live because I've got the trial there where everybody can watch it and recap later. Okay, let's just go with it. Good morning. Sorry for the Monday morning blues, technical difficulties. We already have 4.3 thousand likes. Let's see if we can get to 20,000 likes. And we have 171 souls in the room. Today's live goal is something new. It's called Fest Cheers. I don't know what it does. So I hadn't seen it before. Oh, I like it. Oh, that's so festive. Festive indeed. Good morning, Jen. Courtney's in the house. Okay, I'm about to stop the trial because I can't deal with the echo. Something is amiss. Y'all know how you're very particular about your soundboard and your... Hold on. I'm just going to end it all over here. Sorry, folks. Test. That's what test. Test on the mic 1, 2. Test on the mic 1, 2. Test on the mic 1, 2. And my echo 1. It's still freaking echoing. Ugh! I swear we're going to get to true crime in a minute. What is going on? I know you all don't hear the echo, but I hear the echo in my ear. Test on one ear. Test on one. Test on one ear. Echo one. I feel like I'm on a... I feel like I'm backstage producing a show. I'm going to take this off, okay? So this is going to solve the problem for a while. Then I'll just deal with it. I promise.
It's a Monday.
Let's get into some true crime. Uh-oh, now I can't hear my panel. Hey, I'm back.
I just said it's a Monday.
I'll just reset all my settings when I'm done. It's fine. People are on the Big YT are going to be like, where is the trial? We're taking a break.
Too much going on.
Hey, how are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm getting along.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what all was involved with the weekend's festivities and honoring Micah. I wasn't able to be there.
I watched it live. You know, some people had feeds and stuff, but I really loved. Did you watch Regina's part where she got up there and...
I saw part of that, yeah. I go over to Western North Carolina on the weekends and help with the hurricane recovery. Mm-hmm. Which, to be honest, that's a huge crime scene over there.
Yeah.
Putting that out there, that's a huge crime scene. And there's a lot of devious things going on. But I'm just helping with passing out food and cleaning mud up. Yeah, maybe something to consider later on in this program.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. I see you throwing the festivities. I think it goes with the fest, guys. So thank you for doing that. I see I have another panel guest.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. What's going on?
Not much going on in regard to true crime news. We have just out of 56 minutes ago. This is out of ABC 7. It says Bryan Kohberger's defense reveals alleged details from night of arrest at parents' Pennsylvania home. There are new developments in the Idaho College murders case as defense attorneys are challenging key evidence that they say was improperly obtained by police, including search warrants and DNA. New court filings from Bryan Kohberger's defense team depict a chaotic night when a former PhD student was arrested at his parents' home in the Pennsylvania Poconos. His lawyers claim that during the raid, law enforcement broke the front door of the home, shattering the sliding glass door of the basement, and held the entire family at gunpoint. They also alleged that while Kohberger was zip-tied at his hands and surrounded by police at gunpoint, he made statements to his arresting officers despite not having his rights read to him. Now, they want those statements thrown out, along with other key pieces of evidence. Lead defense attorney Ann Taylor argues they were illegally gathered by law enforcement using his genetic information. Authorities linking Kohberger to the crime after they say they found DNA that was statistically matched on the button snap of a knife sheath at the crime scene where Xana Carnot, Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Mogan, and Ethan Chapman were found tabbed to death. When law enforcement uses that positive match and then says, well, we need to go and get a search warrant because we have a positive match for Bryan Kohberger, that the DNA is tainted and anything else from it is the fruit from a poisonous tree, said ABC News contributor Brian Buckmere. The defense, who says Kohberger is innocent, claiming without that genetic information, there would have been no request for his phone records, which prosecutors also say implicate him. Taylor is also challenging the way authorities gathered search warrants, especially pertaining to the search of Kohberger's car, the white Hyundai Elantra, as well as the Apple and Amazon accounts. Taylor says the warrants lacked probable cause. The trial is set for August, and we are awaiting the judge's decision on the defense's request to have the death penalty taken off the table. So that is what we know thus far in regard to that case. I do have a few other things that are shaking out. And
Test. I just have a quick question, though. They said it was illegally gathered, but wasn't the DNA gotten from the trash?
I thought so, and they're trying to do their best to push it out. And that's part of it. It's a mess. So,
yeah, I thought, does anybody else agree with me that the trash is considered not yours anymore once you put it in the trash and it's out on the street?
I would have thought that.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay.
Now, we do have a case that came out of Texas today, and it is in regard to Texas inmate Melissa Lucio. And this is out of ABC 7 Chicago. Texas inmate Melissa Lucio is actually innocent of unaliving daughter, judge says. Houston. Efforts to free Melissa Lucio, a Texas woman whose execution was delayed in 2022 amid growing doubts. She fatally beat her 2-year-old daughter and were significantly bolstered after a judge concluded that she is actually innocent of capital murder. In the video player is the previous report. Now, the senior state district judge, Arturo Nelson, concluded that prosecutors presented false testimony, suppressed evidence, and that new scientific evidence was not available during Lucio's 2008 trial, undermines and contradicts evidence presented by the state. He recommended that Lucio's conviction and death sentence to be overturned. This court finds Lucio has satisfied her burden and produced clear and convincing evidence that she is actually innocent of the offense of capital murder. Nelson wrote in his 62-page ruling he signed in October and was not made public until Thursday. Lucio has long maintained she is innocent and that her daughter Mariah died of a head injury sustained in an accidental fall down a deep staircase 2 days before her death. So that is the start. Now, granted, the day is still young, and we'll still have more other cases coming through as the day goes on. But that's some of the big ones that I have seen thus far, and I will be keeping you up all throughout the broadcast for any breaking news and other things that may come across my desk.
Thank you.
You're welcome, and back to you.
Okay, thank you. Oh my goodness. Hi, Anne's in the house. Welcome in. Happy Monday morning. The weekend brought some happiness as people celebrated Micah on Saturday. Who here in the room was able to go? I'm interested to hear. And we had talked about this when we first come in here, but Robbie Harvey was there. And for the first time, he walked down to the church and really felt what we felt when we walk up to the church, a sense of sadness because, there are victims.
Yeah.
To get to, in him walking up with, there's no sign on it. See, I've not been there since there's not been a sign on the church, and how powerful that must felt. That as a people, we have at least done our part to help stop further victims from being victims inside the church.
Absolutely. He got very emotional. I did see that part of it. He was crying. It was very touching.
Yeah. So I saw a few of you say that you were there at the festivities. I think my favorite part was Regina Ward getting up there and saying what she said and getting everybody to sign the petition for Micah's law. Thank you for dropping the purple hearts. The panel is open if you want to come up and talk about anything, about how your weekend was, about JP, about the festivities, about
one
anything.
Other article that I wanted to share with you, and I just remembered which one it was.
Yeah.
Now, this is circling back to Delphi and using the Newsacre voice. This is out of the Indy Star. Now, circling back to Delphi, this is very interesting because we didn't realize this was going on in the background. Mm-hmm. Judge restrictions curtail public access to Delphi murder trial. Why does it say disable ad blocker? Anyways, why is it doing that? Why? Let me go back. Let me see if I can get it again.
Okay.
But basically, the short of the very long is that we didn't have as much access as the general public to it. Here we go. Carroll County Sheriff's Office Carroll County Sheriff's deputies seized 4 journals' cameras on October 18th after they say they filmed vans carrying the jury to the double murder trial of Richard Allen. 3 days later, why is it doing that? Here we go.
You're interrupting Kristen's newscast.
I know. Well, it kept from the pop-up. But here we go. Carroll County Sheriff's deputies seized 4 journalist cameras on October 18th after they say they filmed vans carrying the jury to the double murder trial of Richard Allen. 3 days later, Special Judge Francis Gull returned the cameras to the journalists, including Alex Martin of USA Today, Network's Lafayette Courier and Journal. Today, even after a jury found Allen guilty of the 2017 kidnapping and murder of Abigail Abby Williams and Liberty Libby German, the sheriff's office has not returned the memory cards from Martin's cameras. The camera seizure in public space outside of the Delphi courtroom from a photojournalist who actually compiled when ordered not to record the van's arrival was indicative of the lengths Gull and Carroll County officials went to ensure the high-profile trial was orderly without distraction from the media and public at large. From a gag order preventing law enforcement, witnesses, lawyers, and families from speaking publicly about the case to strict rules that prevented the use of any electronic device in the courtroom. Gull made full use of her prerogative to, as she wrote in her pretrial decorum, ensure the integrity of the proceedings to protect the defendant's constitutional rights for due process, to ensure the safety of the parties and the public, and to permit public access to criminal proceedings. Allen's trial attracted international interest across a broad swath of society, including some true crime devotees who developed an unhealthy obsession with the case and investment in the trial's outcome. Conspiracy theories and speculation swirled on social media. Members of the general public and media waited outside the courthouse for hours, often in the dark and cold, for a chance to see the proceedings firsthand. Many, including the credentialed media, were regularly turned away when the courtroom was filled. Gull, who is a retired Morgan County judge, Jane Cayley called. The way it was written was weird. Okay, so this lady, being Judge Jane Craney, was commenting on Gull. Okay, she said she's a fine judge and a fine person and doesn't suffer fools, nor should she. The judge admonished people for falling asleep in the courtroom during the trial and felt it necessary to remind people to walk, not run, in the courthouse. As is often the case, bad behavior by a few lead to restrictions for the many who were playing by the rules. Something that was lost to these limitations and that ultimately resulted in reporters passing handwritten notes on the verdict amongst each other like middle school students. They had been treated as permitting public access to the trial was the last priority listed in Gull's decorum and was treated thusly so. So basically, she had a lot shaking out in regard to preventing media from having any kind of footage. She laid down the law on everybody. And so in addition to the media circus that we know that was on the outside of the courthouse, where you had people on the courthouse lawn on blankets and folding chairs, and they were just waiting to see the jury show up in the vans, you had several reporters saying, recording the vans showing up, and the judge was like, nope, your camera's mine, goodbye. And they still have not given back some of those cameras. And so that's just some of the stuff that was going on behind the scenes while, this whole thing was going on. And of course, that courthouse, I don't think, is a very big courthouse. And they didn't, of course, have media in the So that's why you had your courtroom artists. But it's just a fact of there was a lot going on that you and I and the general public simply did not know. And taking of those cameras was one of them.
I hate that because we were restricted so much anyway. Gwen sent a subscription. So Ashley, if you were in the room, you received a free subscription from Gwen. Thank you and welcome to the SEF family, Ashley. You guys rock. We really had a really good weekend. I reached my goal of 366 subscribers, and I'm going to set a new one. You guys, I'm just going to throw this out there because I would probably flip over if I reached 400 by the end of the month. Can you imagine? I'm going to pin it. If you guys want to join, we do sub-only lives, and you get a 60% off code that you can use on my website at scfmerch.com. You get automatically entered into giveaways that we have randomly during the lives, and you get to use custom stickers that only you get to use, like that right there in the chat while we're talking about true crime. And it's really worth it. I try to make it worth it. So if you want to subscribe, just hit that subscriber button. Thank you, Andrea.
Now,
We have already reached 80% of the goal. Thank you.
Highlights. Yeah, if we're looking for the highlights that we're looking for, the big trials that Court TV is covering today. If you just are popping in and out of Court TV, you've got Ohio versus Jackson and Blithely being the death at the door murder trial. Then we have the continuation of Georgia versus Chloe Driver being the Colt baby murder trial. Of course, we have the continuation of Georgia versus Jose Ibarra, also known as famously as the Laken Riley trial.
Yeah. Hey, good morning, Allison. Good to see you. Thank you for dropping purple hearts. Did you get your necklace, girl? Please tell me you did. Yeah. I know, right?
Driving his missing
just
wife.
follow her. She literally does.
Yeah, I do my own stuff. Like, I should have my own channel, but I really don't. But
What's the stuff about Jay? I don't know. Has something happened?
Yeah, let me mute myself so that way we can get into that.
Well, this live is just about whatever you want to talk about. It's a true crime deep dive. So we're talking about the latest topics in true crime, like the latest trials she was talking about and the latest true crime news. Just about whatever you guys want to talk about. It's not about something specific. He was escorted out. Oh, I remember. Yes. Greta sent a subscription. Pedro Martinez, if you were in the live, you got a free subscription. Thank you, Greta. Thank you for doing that. Jay sent Micah's sister an email, and it blew my mind. What in the hay bale did I miss?
Oh
Did
my
he
goodness.
post? Did he post it?
Yes. And it is a lot.
What's it say?
Basically, that he felt that it was unnecessary for him to leave based on what he was wearing.
He has the email posted on his last video, and it is mind-blowing. I screenshotted it just in case it got taken down because it was like, whoa.
I'm going to go there now so that I can read it.
Or do you want me to do the magic voice?
And then to touch on the whole trash thing, so my cousin is an undercover, and like he'll work and be like the janitor at the hotel, and he can get evidence from their trash in their hotel room. So definitely don't see that being thrown out in the Bryan Kohberger case.
Holy cow. All right. I'm going to read this. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday, Abigail, and send my love to your sisters and family. I did not receive my booth number and site plan. Please review your email to confirm. I also had no knowledge of whether to wear or not to wear my robe. Yes, we did talk on my birthday, November the 11th, about all of the rumors prior to the actual concert, November 16th, yesterday, of the family, y'all kicking me out of being a part of anything with the concert, as well as rumors that Micah's family actually spoke to several people behind the scenes that Jay was asked to not attend and not welcome at the concert due to my connections to JP. Abby, we discussed on my birthday, these rumors and my responsibilities to work my booth only, and that me and my supplies nor my family and friends. I'm not sure what happened there. Yes, we did talk on What? It's rambling. 16 yesterday of the family, y'all. Okay, hold on. We left the conversation on great terms, and nothing about my dress or clothing we discussed or debated whatsoever. If this had been brought to my attention, you and everyone who knows me would certainly expect us to have had a serious back and forth conversation that would have definitely been debated and discussed as controversial for several days leading up to the concert. I'm sure y'all probably discussed it behind my back, although no one verbally spoke to me privately about it, and because it would have been potentially contentious, that why it wasn't actually discussed with me personally. It's okay. I'm pretty disappointed in the lack of empathy with my daughter Stella and her tears of fear and scared by being left alone and worried her dad was going to jail. She literally just turned 14 and emotionally and streetwise of a mere sheltered 13-year-old girl, putting me and her in that position. I couldn't strip down or leave her alone or help hug and stay by her side. We need to use more periods, Jay. Because I was wearing a robe that was extremely heartless and uncalled for. If I'll be completely honest with you, Abby, she literally just turned 14 and emotionally and streetwise of a mere sheltered 13-year-old young girl, putting me in that position that I couldn't strip down or leave her alone or help hug and stay by her side because I was wearing a robe was extremely heartless and called for, if I'll just be completely honest. Yes, Bryan apologized after the concert was over, and I was grateful and absolutely heartfelt, forgiving, and thankful to him. I'm very thankful for your wonderful dad's love he showed me during y'all's final song with his hug and kind words of gratitude. I love Michael so much, and he's truly a wonderful man. I'm sending you $100 via Zelle anyway, and I do not want any receipts or donation exempt forms. I'm sending, I was going to donate everything left in the both booths to your donation truck, and Aunt Rose was actually boxing the donations up during our exit until CJ's media crew and company started bad-mouthing her and me, and she even went to get to the police to go over and assist us from all of the harassment and attacks against me and my family while packing up. We weren't able to give anything to the charity truck. I told you we would months ago at our last meeting. I'm sorry, I'm just throwing a little bit of attitude in there. I also had $1,000 I was going to give to Waymakers in private, although Aunt Rose suggested for me to not give anything at all due to what we experienced at your concert. I'm giving this $100 so no one can say I didn't keep my word, even though it's more than 20% for 2 hours that we had a chance to sell. With everyone who had orders that were picked out and left us holding at our booth until they were ready to leave the concert and come back and pay for their stuff. We added up all of the orders, and it would have been close to over $2,000, not counting any new orders from 1:30 p.m. till 6 p.m. If we could have just let people come visit, meet, buy from Jesus, Jay, that we've been talking and setting into motion for months. So many people were coming to meet and greet and buy bedding, which almost got detailed with the rumors of me not being welcome. Once we cleared that for days leading up to Saturday, it went south again when we were forced to close and leave immediately without giving people warning or make arrangements for people who shopped and left the items until clothing, who left their items until closing. We couldn't take payment because Amanda's phone died, and we were waiting for Rose and James to get there to take payments. By the way, your stepdad, Michael Honeycutt, bought 2 pillows in cash, and I wasn't able to give him his pillows. I'm taking this time to write you in order for you to see that even our simplest decisions based on our emotions and feelings affect a lot of things in real life as well as harms other in the process. People I know never will tell anyone what they can wear or tell them what to do or what to think. My question to the world is, why does everyone hate, ridicule, and judge me for what I choose to wear and what I do? Why can't people just leave me and my family alone and watch and see the good in what we're trying to do? I still love you all, and I'm continuing to pray for you and your family through this difficult time, and appreciate and support y'all have done for me to silence haters behind the scenes. Call me anytime, Abby, and may God shine love, peace, and joy upon you, Uncle Jay.
He sounds like he's got a screw loose. Just
No.
really.
I was mind blown when I read that last night.
Oh my goodness.
Shame on him.
It wasn't about him. It was about Micah.
Girls, let's get down to brass tacks. I mean, seriously, this all could have been prevented if he just wore normal clothes. Seriously. This all could have been 100% avoided if he just wore normal clothes and did what he was asked. That was it. But yet
Right.
he thinks that he is obviously above any kind of law, apparently, and feels the need to, that he can get away with everything. That's where I have the issue with it, okay? And granted, I'll admit my hand up right here, right now, and raise it real high. I don't particularly care for the man. I do not wish to badmouth him. I just don't particularly care for him. But this all could have been prevented. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, your instincts are right. He rubs you the wrong way for a reason. He sounds very narcissistic.
And I definitely say that was for Micah. That was all for Micah. It
Right.
should have been understood there. As soon as they told him that, he should have understood the rules and went by them. And if he couldn't, then he should have packed up and left. Period.
Right.
Good morning,
Exactly.
Ann.
And he calls himself Uncle Jay. Well, shouldn't Uncle Jay respect that the day is for Micah and her family, regardless if he is uncle or not? I mean, it should have been 100% about Micah and her family, not about Jay and his costume.
Go ahead, Ann.
Right. Okay. I just want to let you guys know that Angelita did make it to the protest. Not sure if you guys had seen her. And she was very overwhelmed by it, so she ended up fainting. Yeah, she ended up passing out. But overwhelmed in a good way. I think there was just so much love and so much, appreciation. She had seen how much effort the protesters put into, standing up for Micah. So I think she was overwhelmed by that. So that was really good. Referring to Jay, and Jay and others, it's not just Jay. There are others out there that have, for example, if you look at what you just read, referring to Honeycutt as the stepfather. Honeycutt is not their stepfather. Abel is. That's who's married to Micah's mother.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's sort of a slight or a disrespect to Angelita and to Abel, who don't deserve that. And with that being said, there's been a lot of back talking. Is that the right word? Backbiting?
Yeah.
Character assassinating? Okay. And it's kind of wedged in between the family members. It's wedged in between people that didn't deserve it. And I'm sorry, you could wear any costume you want. That does not excuse playing the fence or both sides of the fence, because in a situation like this, where we're talking about a woman who lost her life and who was abused beforehand, there is no playing both sides. You're either on the side of the abuser or you're on the side of the abused. That's it. This is a black and white issue. And because Jay insisted on riding that fence, and has admitted now that he was friends with True Crime Marie, who has clearly made her position, I mean, very, very clear from the beginning that she is pro-JP. He did this to himself. This is not something Abigail did. It's not something I did. It's not something anybody did. This was just like John Paul Miller. This was because of his own words. So I just wanted to add that because it's really done a lot of damage. I mean, of course, God can heal anything. But the backbiting has to stop because it's now harming people. And maybe the girls picked up on that and just said, all they basically said was, please don't wear your Jesus outfit. That's all they asked of him. Respectfully, he should have just done that. It's not about him.
Yeah.
Could have just wore jeans and a t-shirt like everybody else did. When he refused to respect that request, this is what he faced.
Right.
Family did nothing wrong. That's
I agree. Listen, I said when I found out he wore his robe that I felt uncomfortable with that before this things happened. Like I said that during the day, it just rubbed me the wrong way because it's not that he's wearing a Jesus outfit per se as much as it's connected to the protest, and they didn't want to protest, they wanted to celebrate, right? So in my opinion, he should have just wore regular clothes, made it about Micah, sold his stuff, made his donation, and moved on. And then on top of all of that, he's going to write this letter, one, but number two, post it publicly for the world to see on social media.
right.
What good does that do?
Nothing.
It's attention seeking.
Yes.
And it's always been about attention seeking. That's all. It's always been about that. Who jumps in front of the camera? Somebody who speaks about creating peace has caused more division than anybody that's been involved in this. So you just look at the fruit of the person, and that tells you where they're coming from. Even Satan knew how to act like an angel of light. That was his best deception. So I'm not saying that he's Satan. So please don't misquote me.
Of course not. Somebody in the comments said he showed up in a t-shirt and jeans and decided to change into it later. Do you think that was a decision that he made later, or do you think he had it planned all along?
That he did make later. And Andy P, bless her heart, she was doing really well. She wanted to help him with his booth, so she did. And Andy did a good job. And so he said to Andy, okay, I'm going to go change clothes. I'll be back. And Andy didn't think anything of it. And then he came back in his robe. And that's what triggered everything to go with the way it went. And Andy had her heart in a good place. And she gave herself, selflessly and said, okay, I'm just going to help my friend run his booth and leave it at that. And he did good, but it's the fact of he let me think of the right word to say this without being totally offensive. He's a very socially tone deaf, okay? I'm a pagan, and granted, I will admit fully that I may not be a Christian. However, I am socially aware enough to know that wearing something like that would be very offensive to a lot of people. And for him to be that socially tone deaf, that's really bad on his part.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that it was offensive. I mean, there's a lot of Christians there, obviously. It's more along the lines that he misrepresents Jesus Christ. That's number one. Number two, if you're the only person wearing a costume, the attention now has been taken off of Micah and put on that person. It's very selfish. So another time, I mean, for a while at the protests, it was acceptable because it was in front of a church and it was a Sunday morning. But, if the fruit or what I mean by that is the character of the person would have matched Jesus Christ, or at least as close as you can get, then maybe there wouldn't have been such a problem, but that's not what has happened. So again, that is not the fault of anybody else but Jay.
Hey, Amber. Maybe she stepped away. She was wanting up here. I'm getting a text message here.
Her mute's on. She might not realize her mute is on.
Can you hear me now?
Okay. I got you. I got what you're saying. So I'm just going to read this text message. He was not the only one in costume. So the issue is that what they're saying is other people had costumes on, like the tall walker, and different things. But I think the difference is that it's now associated with negativity, and the others aren't. He's not using the costume in the right sense, I think, is what people's opinions are. I kind of feel the same way. I had a problem with it, just because of, now if he just showed up and nobody had ever seen him before, he'd walked in with the Jesus outfit, maybe nothing, but it's because of the connection and the connotations. Go ahead, Amber.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. It's echoing on my end. But I might have taken traffic. Can somebody explain to me what happened at the event with, we're going to call him JJ? Because I'm hearing apparently there was a confrontation and everything that happened was because he wanted, like you said, attention on himself, not what the event was about.
Right.
After everything happened, he was back on live and he was back at the event. And at the end of me watching his live, somebody was like, "Hey Jay, can I talk to you?"
Like,
and he was
what
like, "Yeah."
exactly happened?
Everybody kept telling him to mute, but he wouldn't mute. And the guy was like, "I don't want this, everything that happened earlier. I just want to say I'm sorry. I don't want it to tarnish this for Micah." But I have no idea who it was.
Mm-hmm.
So what did he like? Because number one, I've lost all respect for him, if I even ever had any respect for him, because of the simple fact of, oh, well, and I'm not quoting his quote exactly verbatim, but me and Rita get along just fine, and y'all would like her too if y'all would just give her a chance. No, I will not ever give her a chance. Number one, let's just put that out there, because that she's doing the devil's work, and that's what that is.
Snap.
And number two, I'm confused on exactly what happened at the event, like what he did at the event, because I heard that he was almost to the point of being asked to leave.
So, can I make a comment about what you just read, Steph, on your text message?
Uh-huh.
My point on that is the people that were, excuse me, in costume were for the kids. Did you see the mermaid? She was doing things for the kids. Yes, the tall walker, whatever they call them, I can't remember, with the stilts on, that was for the kids. That was to make it lighthearted and fun. That is what that was for. Mm-hmm. If I'm hoping everybody agrees with me here. That was for the children that were there. Him doing that was not for the kids.
Right. You are absolutely right, and thank you for bringing that up. Yes, for the children. I didn't even think of it that way. But I think, and I pinned the go, we need two more. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for that. But here's what I think. Above all of that, they simply asked him not to do it in the first place.
So what did he do? That's what I'm trying to figure out. He
wore the Jesus costume. Jesus?
Yeah, he got there. He was there in regular clothes, and then went and purposely changed into his garb his robe or whatever after he had already been asked not to prior to this even going on.
Boss Lady saying he's claiming he was not asked not to wear it.
No. I mean,
So he pretty much wanted the attention on himself, is what I'm gathering.
The way I understand it to go is that the family was okay with him wearing that walking around the grounds. They did not want him wearing that selling at the booth. And so
What did he
it's
have to
their
sell?
benefit. It's their family's benefit. So he didn't wear it at the booth, and then he did. And that's what they had the problem with.
So what kind of booth did he have set up? Because he
Bedding.
It was bedding. It was like pillows, mattress toppers, things like that.
So he wanted the attention on himself and to make a profit.
Yes, essentially.
Wow.
Texas Girl says they don't want him making money off of a Jesus costume. I can see that. And that's one of the things I said Saturday, too, is because I think they are also looking at it not only from the connection to the protest, but to sell under the name of the Lord.
Yeah, it's like flipping tables in the temple.
Right.
In my opinion, and I'm just going to throw this out there, with all the controversy going on with him and with everything, not 150, 200 people are going to misinterpret it, what he's trying to do. I think now with him saying, oh, well, give Rhea a chance, give JP a chance. No, those two right there should have never come out of your mouth. Number one, because those two don't deserve a chance ever in my eyes. But in my opinion, I think, at one time there was a mole in the protest amongst the protesters. And I don't know, I heard they found out who it was, but I think there might have been more than one, and I think it was him. And I think he's gathering information that he can, and he's running back to Ree and John Paul and telling them everything that's going on.
You want me to read? I will. I don't care. Yeah, let's read the comments. Greta's specifically, they said. On the comments, Greta says, Jay, that benefit was the Francis's house. I agree. Personally, I agree. Thank you so much for sending that tree. I appreciate that. And whoever just sent that other one too. Thank you. If they asked you to take it off and you didn't do it immediately, then you disrespected their boundaries. He responded, the email was to show the truth from my own words in response to the ordeal, not to cause drama. People will read and judge for themselves, and God will reveal each person's heart to thyself. How about not just wear it?
I can't with him anymore.
One day, just don't wear it.
Oh, excuse me.
And with him holding live after live after live, trying to get his story out there, it's the same story, but if you listen, it's like, so last week you were going to press charges on John Paul for shoving you, and this week you want us to give him a chance and hear him out. Same thing with Ree. Well, Ree is literally dragging everybody's names, especially two people that I follow very, very closely. And okay, well, one other besides Steph. And so no, why does she even deserve a chance? And why are you trying to convince people to I don't have words. I just
Right. Okay. Can I confirm something? I was
Yeah.
not at the event, so I would not be in a costume at the event, seeing that I would never wear a costume. And secondly, I was not even in the state. So whomever said that in the chat, you're misinformed.
Yeah. For the record, I wasn't there either.
And she
I
wasn't
wasn't
in
there either.
costume. Yeah,
But
nobody was in costume.
like I said, I did see the ones that were in the costume. I saw the mermaid. I saw the lady in the stilts and things like that. And I might have seen a couple others. But what I also saw was the kids enjoying it, and that's what it was for.
Clarification, the girl on the stilts was one of the sisters.
Right.
Oh, okay. Well, but I'm saying it was for the kids. Like, it was, you know what I'm saying? They were, like, I saw the mermaid sitting around, trying to configure her being underwater, blowing bubbles for the children and things like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So clearly for the kids, like, that was kind of like entertainment for the children. And then, the adults had the entertainment of the stage and, the music and things like that.
Right.
So I don't see where his costume comes into play for the kids.
Folks, we are
Unless he
almost
was
at
doing
50.
Bible study and I forgot and I missed it.
Folks, we are almost at 50,000 likes. We have 350 souls in the room. If you would like to send whatever that thing is, he's a dancing something, fest cheers, please do so. And you know what to do to help get more folks in here. Stop the silence. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good.
So, I don't know what's going on, but I heard something about some people not going to the event. I didn't go to the event, and I have a few reasons why I didn't go. Number one, I have a stalker that literally stalks the life out of me. So I didn't know if that person was going to be there or if they were going to be taking, having someone take pictures of me and my kids behind us or, so I just didn't feel safe on that end of things. And I also don't like Regina Ward. I mean, I'm not going to hide that. I'm not going to change my mind on that. Everybody knows why I don't like her, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion. So I think that what she's pushing, she has a hidden agenda for. So, but I definitely.
so Regina Ward's shady too.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Regina is shady too.
Oh, Regina's very shady. I mean, I called her out at the first press conference asking her why she did not get Micah a restraining order.
Oh, that was you that said that?
Yes, that was me.
Oh, I watched that.
That
You
was
go,
me.
girl.
And yeah, I said that because if I had not met Ginger Dunn at the first protest, nobody would have known that Regina was Micah's lawyer. I met Ginger at the first protest, and she was terrified of Regina because Regina ruined her entire life. She paid her $150,000 to defend her in a divorce case, and her life is completely ruined. Regina Ward is trying to get her put in jail for a GAL that should have never been in place for a 17-year-old child. If you're not familiar with the story, you could just go follow up on it. But so, I mean, at that first protest, nobody would have known that Regina was Micah's attorney until Ginger Dunn. She thought I was organizing the event. She came up to me. And then, I started calling Regina out, telling people that that's Micah's attorney. And everybody just thought she was there representing the family. Nobody had known that Micah had paid her to defend her. So if you are so for DV victims, if you are, just so for the cause. Why did you charge her? And why are you charging her family? So I just will never be anywhere where I agree with Regina Ward. I don't like her. I don't think she's for victims. Yes, of course you need to make your money, but that woman has a $10,000 retainer. And she doesn't go give discounts on that. I have a friend who is a domestic violence victim who Regina is her lawyer. And this girl is so brainwashed by Regina that she really thinks that it's normal to pay $130,000 for a divorce case. She is fighting to protect her children. And she is convinced that it's because her ex-husband is making it difficult. That's why it's $130,000.
Wow.
And it's so sad to watch and see. And I've tried to talk to her, but she's just so convinced that this is how much it costs. And so she is a domestic violence victim, absolutely a domestic violence victim. And her family has had to take out second mortgages to pay Regina. So if you're for victims, you don't charge them that kind of money. You just don't. I mean, you're getting rich off of victims. So, I mean,
That's a small home.
That is. That is. And
that's insane.
And this is her fighting to protect her children from an abuser. And so, and Regina she did not voice that she was Micah's attorney in the beginning. She didn't tell anybody she was Micah's attorney. She said she was the family's attorney. And when I called her out at the press conference and said, why didn't you get Micah a restraining order? She said, because Micah died before we got one, which is bullshit. So,
JP sure does seem to get his restraining orders pretty fast.
Oh, he gets them so fast. So, I mean, don't tell. There is a law, and she's sitting there pretending like there's not a domestic violence law, which there is. In South Carolina, a judge has 24 hours to look at your restraining order and grant it or dismiss it. The first restraining order Micah tried to file on her own was in the wrong court. She was told to go to the correct court. She had an attorney at that time, too. Another woman named with the last name Ward, but she was in Murrells Inlet. I can't find the connection yet, but I'm positive there is one between two wards in the same city. But I mean, she said that was her excuse at the press conference. I don't know how many people remember, but she literally said, oh, because she died before we got one. So I support the family. I feel for them, but I want nothing to do with her.
Right. Why do you think the family chose to stay with her instead of picking someone else?
I think that Regina's really good at manipulating. I mean, looking at her on the news, I can see what a good manipulator she is. And I mean, if I didn't have personal experience and know that my friend is paying $130,000 to save her children, then I wouldn't know any of this stuff. That is an absolutely ridiculous amount of money for a lawyer for a divorce.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That is a little bit ridiculous. I mean, they have to be millionaires to have that kind of a.
No, and I just went through 5 years of custody court.
Someone who actually did work for a family law attorney out of Houston.
Hold on a minute. Hold on, Kristen. Who was talking about? They went through. Who on the panel just talked about going through a custody thing? Who was it?
No, I might have said, I made the comment of saying that, that kind of price tag is for people who've got a lot of assets and children in custody and, that they're millionaires. That's not for the regular everyday, person.
I mean, I didn't even spend 20 in 5 years of custody court. So that's insane.
I'd like to know.
I spent close to 20,000, but
I wonder if it's at all possible to have some sort of a federal law where there's a grant offered to women who are DV victims seeking a divorce, and the grant pays the
Actually,
legal
there is actual resources that are free. Now,
Yeah.
granted, you have to do the legwork to find it, but you could go through the North Carolina Legal Aid Directory to find out what's available to you that's either A, low cost, or B, pro bono, depending on what entity you go through. But yeah, there are all kinds of help. It's just a matter of where you look. And as a person who did do a family law case with a family attorney in Houston, that price tag is part of a highly contested divorce that had been contested and relitigated over and over and over again for many, many, many years. So as much as that's an extremely high price tag for most people, when it's mutually agreed upon and it's done, it's not that high.
No,
It's
it's
the only
not.
time that it is that high is when they're going back and forth to court, relitigating over and over and over and over for many, many, many years and dragging it out. Okay. So I'm sorry that your friend experienced that. However, that price tag is actually about normal for someone who has an extremely contested case.
Well, that's why I'm saying that
My parents
something
just
should be
said they're an
available.
extremely contested
If somebody is a DV victim, I don't think they've got the frame of mind to go searching for legal aid and all. There should be something that's much more available by federal government, not state by state. That way, maybe the attorneys would be more open to taking payment as long as somebody's got that proof. For example, police reports or maybe some kind of paperwork from a psychologist or something like that. I have a feeling this would have to be something new, but so that someone that's under that stress of abuse, they wouldn't have to fight so hard. Maybe Micah would have, under something like that, Micah would have been able to be saved.
Hey, girls, I got to drop. I got a meeting, so I will be back in a few minutes.
Okay. Hennessy family says Regina is interested now and doing her job because the FBI is involved. Otherwise, she failed Micah.
Absolutely. I mean,
I gotta say, I
anyone
agree with that.
anyone who wants to, okay, let's say it's normal. I don't think that price tag is normal whatsoever. I have full custody of my own kids. I went through DV. I fought that. So, I mean, let's say it is normal. Why didn't you file a restraining order for Micah? Okay. I mean, that's simple. It's that simple. She never filed one. I mean, and for her to say, we filed one, but she died before we got there. She never filed one. And I know, Steph, I know you've looked into this. I know everybody else has looked into this. There was no filing for a restraining order. She lied.
Right.
She's lying. And the day that she got the restraining order for the family against JP, that's when I asked her, why didn't you get one for Micah? Why didn't you do it for Micah? You're her attorney. And nobody knew that before she was called out. I said, you were her attorney. Why didn't you get one for her? And she said, well, she died before we got one. That's bullshit. That's a bullshit
I feel
excuse.
like the restraining order should have been filed the same day that the paperwork for the divorce was filed.
Absolutely.
Or
And
before.
it wasn't.
Or before, because I mean, here's the thing. Whenever Micah went to meet with Regina, the story was told, and Micah told her everything that was going on. At that point, actually, is when a restraining order should have been filed. Then you work on the paperwork for the divorce, because that is a lot more in-depth and complicated. Restraining order, not so much.
Well, what was JP served 2 days before? What was that? Was
the divorce papers.
Oh, okay.
But, you think about it, and she would have had that takes a little time to get all that together, put in there everything you want to put in for, litigation, any of that, whatever. The restraining order part is pretty simple. You need three reasons, and Micah had those reasons. She had them all documented.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
agree.
So
Everybody can sit here and say that a restraining order is not going to do anything. And I'm sorry that you believe that. But a restraining order is what got my abuser 12 years in prison. And if you don't know my story, I had to build a case against my abuser. The DA wasn't doing it. Nobody was doing it for me. I had to do it myself. And every time somebody violates that restraining order is a misdemeanor. Misdemeanors add up to felonies. So once you get so many misdemeanors of violating that, you call every single time. And if you are in an abusive relationship now and you don't know this, getting a restraining order does protect you. It is just a piece of paper, but the more and more that person contacts you and you call the police every single time, you record every single contact, that turns into a felony. That is how I got my abuser 12 years in prison. He was facing 27. He pled to a plea deal, but he had 15 felonies from violating restraining orders. And it was every single call, every single threat. I had the cops standing there in my house recording him as he was threatening my life. So you may believe that it doesn't do anything, but that time when JP was at her job, that's a violation of a restraining order. The time that he tracked her, that's a violation of a restraining order. Those would have been felonies. He would have gotten prison time, but there was never a restraining order filed. And so anyone who, wants to defend Regina, there's no excuse for her not filing a restraining order for Micah. There was enough proof. She had journals. She had everything that she needed. She's an attorney. She could have gotten it very easily. She knows the court system. And she knows
I agree with you, but I have to say one thing. I think I totally believe in restraining orders, but I also believe that Myrtle Beach is so corrupt that they may have played it or they may have ignored it because I think a lot of them are in JP's pocket. The only reason why I think they arrested him because of what happened between him and the protester was because they know the feds are involved. It's been confirmed in the public's eye. So they're under the gun that they have to do things by the book now. If that would have been a month ago, he would have walked away. They wouldn't have done anything. So I think the area is what really matters, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, also, you think that he has people in his pocket. You don't think Regina has people in her pocket?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
She absolutely does. She is very powerful in that city, okay? A lot of people know her. She owns a lot of property there. Okay, she knows all of the judges. Yeah, if you're going on your own, to file a restraining order against somebody who has the judges in their pocket, of course you're not going to get it. Of course not. But if you have somebody with the power that Regina has, you're going to get it.
Right. I agree. No, I agree with you.
The other thing I wanted to say, just as somebody that does not live in South Carolina, I don't know Micah, I just know her story and obviously have followed this case. In that situation, Micah herself may have wavered back and forth. We don't know what she obviously reported some very concerning things to Regina, which obviously she would have a responsibility to counsel her about. But she may have not wanted to file one at first, or, maybe she did at first, but then she changed her mind. So there's that to consider too. Just because, like in San Diego, I don't know if I mentioned this on your other live the other morning, but we had a case where there was a woman and a man in a car in their 30s sitting there waiting to get a restraining order. Yeah, this was last week. And they were brutally executed in the middle of Little Italy, San Diego. Like, it's horrible. By the woman who had an affair with her boyfriend or whatever. So he killed both of them, and then he shot at a cop, and it was just insane. But this is all right outside the courthouse. And so this was like before the hearing was at 9 a.m. And so somebody like JP filing a restraining order against him, the rage, I don't know, it would scare me.
Well, she wasn't scared to file a restraining order. She tried to. And the judge told her that she was in the wrong court. So she tried to. It wasn't that she didn't want one. she called the police multiple times on him. So I don't think that she was, wavering back and forth. I mean, she had spent a ton of money hiring Regina to protect her. And she could have gotten the restraining order, but it was never filed.
Let's talk about those dates, okay? So the first thing I want to bring up is she filed for an order of protection, which is different from a restraining order. It's different in the way that there's more required elements to file for an order of protection. One of which is proof of domestic violence, which she had. In South Carolina, if you can prove the stalking, the DV, the harassment, and you feel like it's in an emergency, those can be granted within 24 hours of filing. And she filed on April the 15th. JP was served the order of protection notice on the 25th.
Wow.
If Regina had taken this serious enough, she could have got that order of protection, different from a restraining order, in front of a judge within 24 hours. What is the difference between a restraining order and an order of protection? Well, there's a legal basis for the order of protection, where it's governed by the South Carolina Code of Laws, typically under harassment and stalking statutes. So she had this information, Regina. She knew this information, but it didn't get, in my opinion, Micah just didn't happen to die before the restraining for the order of protection got put into place. It's that the whole process wasn't taken serious. He was served the order of protection. I have a copy of it on the 25th. I'm looking at it on my phone. He was also served divorce papers on that day.
That's right.
Can you upload that anyway? I have never seen that. I looked but obviously, I'm not you, Steph. So can we see that somehow? Because I've never seen it.
Yeah, I can send it. Just
cool.
Send me a message and remind me.
Okay, I will.
Yeah,
forget.
please, me too. I'll send you a message too, Steph. I'd like to see that. If that's okay.
Definitely. She knew where he was. She knew. The process serving knew how to find. There was no urgency. There was no urgency in protecting Micah, and that's the point. Is that there was no urgency, and it was needed.
I don't know if you guys remember the interview with Regina. I want to say like right before the family court hearing, they might have done that interview. But she was saying that how Micah really wanted things to be peaceful. She wanted an easy divorce. She did say that Micah was going back and forth in her head about things like that. And it wasn't towards the end that she was ready to really fight. Not that she wasn't a fighter before, but she was so focused on being a good wife and doing the godly thing. But I think in that instance, she might have respected Micah's wishes, even though she wanted to go further and pursue more things.
It's overwhelming. We have a moment of silence right there because we are processing all of this information. Yeah. There are so many different parts to this. There are so many people that could have stepped in and saved her life. I'm calling you out, police department. I'm calling out every report that was kind of brushed off and noted as a follow-up later, but you never do, but we never will. Don't tell anybody, but we're just going to move on and ignore. Right?
Does anyone remember that part of that interview, though?
Which one?
I do.
You do?
I do. Yeah, no, I mean, she just, and even in some of her, videos, like, and you could just see that it was a recurring theme that, you know, divorce is bad, but isn't abuse, you know that whole quote, like, I mean, you know that she was wrestling with that moral obligation to make it work or try to, you know, be a godly wife. I don't know. I mean, I don't think that she wasn't very ready to actually separate and do everything it took. Obviously, that's why she gave Regina everything she gave her. But I do think that it's a lot more complicated than it may seem.
Well, see,
Definitely.
that's the twisting of the Word of God once again, that John Paul Miller had done, because the Word of God says he hates divorce except for sexual iniquity. So that means that as soon as John Paul Miller had committed adultery, which we all know he did,
Yes.
Micah had an open door, and Jesus was standing there opening it for her. So, I mean, that's what happens when you read the entire Bible and call these wolves out and go, you're not a pastor, you're not a man of God. That's what happens. And some people say, well, that's not peaceful, that's not Christ-like. Oh, yes, it is. If you read the Word of God, you'd see correcting, testing and correcting is what's in the Word, and would avoid this kind of manipulation of the sheep.
Well,
And
and
then
I feel like she was on the fence a lot too, because she did not want to hurt the church itself
Right.
and the congregation and things like that.
Totally agree with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like she
Even
because
that
she
message-
loved that
She
church.
loved them.
And
She
yeah,
loved the
she loved
people,
them.
yeah.
She loved the people. She loved the congregation. She was there for them. And I feel like maybe not so much JP in a sense at the end, but the church itself.
But sometimes
Exactly.
love.
That's why we heard her on
the.
the phone message saying,
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm going to go because I'm in a lot of pain. But I just want to say sometimes loving people is saving them from that kind of hurt, that kind of pain, that kind of deception. And it hurts. But, you know, if you really love somebody, think about it. Anybody that you love and you see they're in danger, you know, sometimes you got to come out of that hyper grace bubble and say, and grab them. Like from a moving train coming at them, you got to kind of grab them with aggressiveness, but you're saving them at the same time. But it's all in love. So
I wish that as much love as she had for those people at the church, I wish they would have had just as much back for her. The people that could have helped her, that she went to.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I feel like those are the ones that failed her. I'm not saying the whole congregation, because I'm sure not everybody in that whole congregation knew what was going on, but there were people that did, that she confided in, and they basically told her to shut up, sit down, and be a good wife.
Charles
Indeed.
Randall
And
needs
that
to.
is so wrong
Yeah.
in so many ways.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go, guys, but God bless. And
Take care of yourself, Ann.
Take care. Ann.
Thank you, Ann, for coming up here.
Feel better.
We have 76,000 likes, folks, and 363 souls in the room. Today's live goal is 6 of these little fest cheers fillers, and he gets up and dance, and he's real cute. So if you want to throw one, please be my guest. Share True Crime is in here. I see you. Twisted's got to go too. Thank you, Twisted. Did anybody that attended the festivities, did anybody see any of Micah's friends there, like Charlotte? What's up? Mama Celeste is in the house, also known as True Crime Baddie.
I saw Charlotte was in South Carolina with Robbie Harvey. They went to Solid Rock on a video, so I would think she would be there, but I didn't watch any videos of it, so I don't know.
Yeah, she was there. I seen her walking around. I saw several creators that were there that had talked to her. And if you haven't seen Robbie's latest TikTok video on that was very
Moving.
moving. Yes, that Yes, go watch it. It said a lot.
Yeah, I watched
Not
it.
so many words, let's put it that way.
Yeah,
You know?
I watched it some yesterday, and then something interrupted me and I had to stop. So I finished watching it this morning while I was getting ready. And after I got done with the particular interview back in June, I remember on the way to the car, I thought I was going to throw up. Like, I felt like dizzy and nauseous. And because when you hear of things that may or may not happened in the news on social media is one thing. But when you sit down and hear that it happened to your face and you know it's real, that's another. And so I can completely understand how he became overwhelmed with emotion. And I cannot wait to watch tonight's show. I believe he has that at 9 p.m. And I know all of you guys are going to be there too. And I don't think he's going to give us details about who he interviewed, but I think he will give us a synopsis of his time there and what he learned, and he'll maybe kind of give you some hints or whatnot. But I think the FBI has all of that information. I feel like the people have come forward, have also gone to the FBI. Regardless whether it's it could prove their point on John Paul's domestic violence to Micah, if this in fact isn't a cross state lines DV FBI investigation.
One thing, Steph, I wanted to ask about is I saw a video, and I can't unfortunately cite the creator because I don't remember, but it wasn't you, but it was somebody that was talking about how, I think it was the guy in the suit, how he was the assistant attorney, like federal DOJ attorney, on scene. And also the fact that like they have that huge van and like so many officers, and that's not at all like consistent with a DV type thing. So right. I don't know if anybody saw that, and if anybody knows anything more about that, because I'd like to look into it if anybody knows who that attorney is.
Cajun says the Francis family got on stage together and ended the event. I missed that part. I hope somebody get that part filmed, and I'd like to see the front part of Regina Ward's speech. I only saw from a side camera. I hope people post that. If I could have afforded to have went, I would have, and made sure the whole thing was recorded. But it's just too dag-nab expensive because I have to fly. I can't drive because of my disability that far. It's super painful, super dangerous. So because I have to do it that way, it was just too expensive. What? Did y'all see Jay dancing with Michael Francis? No, I didn't see that.
Oh my God.
He did. God. He posted a link on Facebook to Regina's speech. Okay. Thanks. Well, the time has come for me to depart on my true crime boat into the true crime sea. But listen, y'all throw my panel some roses and hearts or toad donuts or dancing failures, whatever y'all can, to thank them for taking the time out of their day to come up on the panel and speak with you. That's time they'll never get back, and I know that you appreciate it. Good afternoon. Hi. Thank you for that. Thank you so much.
Everyone have a great day.
Thank you, Chastity.
Before we go, before you go, I'm holding a toy drive for children of domestic violence. You can find the information on my page. It's going to be in December, and we are taking donations or toy donations. So if anybody can check that out, that is for children of domestic violence. Thanks, guys.
Follow this page and check that out. Follow that. That's very, very important. You all know I love each and every one of you very, very much. You are making my dreams come true right before my eyes. I can't even talk, my eyes. And listen, I am up on cheerchoiceawards.com. I got nominated for a Cheer Choice Award, and you can vote once a day. So don't forget to go there. And all you do is look for my name, just search for my name, and you'll find me. I'm also under the category of news and media. So go to cheerchoiceawards.com, search for me, vote for me every single day, and maybe I'll see you in Vegas, huh? Yes, you can vote every day.
By the way,
yes, daily.
Congrats, Steph. You are so deserving.
It reminds me of the cheermaster on the Grinch. So I want to be the cheermaster.
Voting right now.
Yes, every day. Like you're going to get up, you're going to be like, I'm getting ready for work and put on my makeup. Coffee, vote for Stephanie, go to work.
I think, I think all of you that have, especially you, Steph, that have, come forward to help, with Micah's case and to bring, DV, narc abuse forward, for those of us that have been through it, and to give people a platform to feel safe enough to come forward, and that hopefully that others will feel safe enough at some point if and when they're ready. And you definitely have that personality that is so calming, and you are willing to step out and to, talk about the subject that is a very, very touchy subject. So I applaud you on what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you for those kind words. It doesn't happen without y'all. When I come in here every morning, you give me so much love and so much support, and you come on the panel and y'all make the show possible. We share and talk about information, and I think it's important. I am a child, and I say child DV survivor because, when my father got mad at me, he wouldn't whoop me. He'd go get his pew-pew and hold it to my head. So however you want to think about that as trying to receive that information and process that information as a 7-year-old, 6-year-old, 5-year-old, as I was, in those type of ways, I survived. And I'm also a child rape and molestation survivor from the age of 4 until 8. And so all of these experiences that I've had growing up and all of the things that I've seen give me power to keep coming on here every day and seeking justice for those, giving a voice to those who don't have one, and giving a voice to those who just need theirs to be heard. Thank you, guys. Remember that you can follow me on any social media platform. Excuse me. All you have to do is look for the same username and logo. I am on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram, and an app called Scoops with a Z. That's a new one. Thank you, guys. Thank you for all your messages. I see you. I have we ain't even got to my childhood. Like, we ain't even made it there. It's a whole season. And I don't care to tell you guys all kinds of stuff about my childhood, because I was blessed to be able to work my way through it and forgive where forgiveness wasn't warranted. Okay. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll keep talking about it. Have a good day.